The color line still divides the American church. If you want to know why and how, stay tuned to the big picture. It's been said that 11 o'clock a.m. on Sunday morning is the most segregated hour in the entire United States of America. America likes to think of itself as a Christian nation. We all, those of us who consider ourselves to be Christians, believe that we are serving the same God. We are submitting ourselves to the same Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We read the same Bible, and yet race, as it relates to influence and impact, has more weight than faith, our Christian faith. I know this and you know this, and we can see this in how we conduct ourselves in the political arena. And more specifically, we can see this in terms of how we vote, especially in the presidential elections. Now, if you're African American, I can pretty much tell you, for the most part, not, there are exceptions, but for the most part, if you're African American, I can tell you, and you're a Christian, because there's no exception to what I'm about to say. If you're an African American Christian, for the most part, you voted for Barack Obama. And you did so not because he was just a black man, but the fact that he was black was inspirational in the sense that you believe that perhaps finally the United States was post-racial, and therefore people could rise or fall based upon their individual qualities, merits, talents, abilities, what they brought to the table, and race was no longer the enormous hindrance that it has been historically. So he represented hope. He represented not just a person, one person being elected, but in a sense, the entire community coming up. And you voted for him. And abortion and pornography was not anywhere in the realm of your thinking for the most part. But if you're white and you're an evangelical Christian, I can tell you for the most part, and there are exceptions, you voted for Donald Trump, and you voted for him because you believe that he would put judges on the Supreme Court who would ultimately overturn Roe v. Wade. And that was your primary thought. You had no thought about whether or not people were going to be treated fairly, whether or not all segments and all ethnic groups of the American society were going to be brought to the table of brotherhood. Your primary thought was, man, we're going to overturn Roe v. Wade. And you had that narrow perspective. You didn't give any consideration, for the most part, to whether or not this man was qualified, whether or not this man had the skills and talents and abilities and the temperament to serve as the president, which, let me go on a limb and say here, I don't think he does. And that has nothing to do with black or white. It's just, it is what it is. He's been the president for 2 years. He's picked a fight with Congress. He's picking a fight with the U.S. Supreme Court. He has shown himself to be a bull in a china shop. But let me say this. I didn't vote for him. I don't intend to vote for him the next time. But nevertheless, Christians, please understand this. He is God's man. No person becomes the president of the United States unless God has so ordained it to be. Yeah, I can say that. But I have a question for my white evangelical brothers and sisters. Can you say the same as it relates to Barack Obama? I just recently read a post of one of my white Christian brothers who said that Barack Obama was the devil's president, the devil's candidate. That's nonsense. If we believe that God is sovereign, and if we believe that he is omnipotent, that means that he is in control of all things at all times. What kind of faith do we have? I only point all of this out to say that it is race. It's through the lens of race more so than our Christian faith that we see things in this country. And it's shameful and it should not be, but it is what it is, and it needs to come to an end. Our faith, and not the color of our skin, should dictate how we conduct ourselves in the political arena and every other arena. That's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. That's the big picture.